Arbok is arguably one of the more well-known Pokemon in the Pokemon universe due to its appearances early on in the anime as a member of Jesse's team. Despite this, it seems like nobody really cares for our little snake friend anymore. You never really see too many people talking about this being one of their favorite Pokemon, and you never see anyone using this Pokemon competitively or even in-game for that matter. In my opinion, this Pokemon seems like a perfect candidate to have gotten a Alolan form, but unfortunately it didn't. The sad truth is Arbok is just one of the worst Pokemon out there, and in this video, we'll be analyzing all of Arbok's positives and negatives in order to see how bad or how good Arbok really is. Before we get too far into this video, I am your host PaPaSea, and in this video we'll be discussing Arbok and if it is one of the worst Pokemon out there. If you guys are a long-time viewer, then I'm sure you guys are familiar with my worst Pokemon series, and I'm just trying a little bit of a different format with the worst Pokemon series. This is a worst Pokemon episode technically, just a little bit different. And of course, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure you leave a like as it helps the channel tremendously, and subscribe if you are new. Taking a closer look at Arbok, it is a mono poison type Pokemon introduced in Generation 1 with the abilities Intimidate, Shed Skin, and Unnerve. Arbok has a stat line of 60 in HP, 95 in attack, 69 in defense, 65 in special attack, 79 in special defense, and 80 in speed. This gives Arbok a base stat total of only 448. Arbok is one of the Pokemon that received a buff in the transition to Generation 7, however, raising its attack stat from 85 to a somewhat usable 95. The mono poison typing is also pretty nice as it can absorb things like toxic spikes. It only has 2 weaknesses in ground and psychic, and offensively it is a pretty nice typing to hit fairy type Pokemon. All 3 of Arbok's abilities are all pretty usable as well, as Intimidate lowers your opponent's attack stat, and it's one of the best abilities in the game in my opinion. Shed Skin is great to cure status as well, while Unnerve is definitely the worst of the 3 abilities Arbok has, however preventing the use of berries can still be useful. So far you might be thinking, hey, we're off to a pretty decent start for Arbok, but trust me, this goes downhill pretty quickly. Taking another look at Arbok's stats again, and you might be thinking yikes. If you're familiar with competitive Pokemon in just about any capacity, then you can tell that these stats are pretty lackluster. Arbok's best stat is 95 in attack, which really isn't all that strong at all. A speed stat of 80 is in that awkward range of being slower than most offensive Pokemon, but faster than a lot of bulky Pokemon, which is just mediocre. The same goes for its defense and HP stats, which really isn't so great. Intimidate can help you live physical hits, however strong ground types like Excadrill, Crocodile, and Landorus Therian can still KO a max HP Arbok with an Earthquake after an Intimidate. Moving on to Arbok's move pool, and you might be thinking, hey, this is a Generation 1 Pokemon, it must have a pretty good move pool, right? A lot of Generation 1 Pokemon have crazy move pools, like Gyarados gets Fire Blast for some reason. Arbok, for whatever reason, doesn't exactly have this, although its move pool really isn't that terrible. Arbok has some nice offensive options with moves like Gunk Shot, Earthquake, Seed Bomb, Fire Fang, and Aqua Tail, just to name a few, and some nice utility options with moves such as Haze, Coil, Glare, and Dragondale. Glare is one of the best status moves in the game, and Arbok is one of the very few Pokemon to have access to it, which is really nice. Coil is also a very nice move on Arbok to boost its attack and defenses, as well as boost its accuracy to help land moves like Gunk Shot a lot easier. This is one of the better ways to use Arbok in my opinion, paired with the Intimidate ability with moves like Glare and another coverage move, along with the Black Sludge item in order to recover some health. You could even run a more offensive Arbok set with Shed Skin to help against Thunder Waves or Burns, although that set isn't as reliable in my opinion due to Arbok's mediocre speed stat of just 80. Combine that with its low defenses and you will be outsped by a lot of things and forced to switch or make your Arbok take a hit that would most likely knock it out. Now if you're playing in a Smogon low tier such as PU or even NU, you will have better success with Arbok since 80 base speed down in those tiers really isn't all that slow, and all the Pokemon down in these tiers are generally a lot weaker, so Arbok will have a much easier time staying alive. One pairing to go on your team with Arbok is a Sticky Web user, because this will really help an offensive Arbok be faster than most other things without having to rely on Arbok going for Glare. Smogon's recommended set also has the Aqua Tail on Arbok in order to ensure KOs on bulkier ground types and rock types, which could help out a lot. And that's the real issue with Arbok here. It has a few neat tools it can play with, but there isn't really anything Arbok can do well, and it's pretty reliant on support from your other Pokemon in order to do anything. From a defensive standpoint, other lower tier poison type Pokemon such as Weezing and Muk are just better than Arbok due to their higher overall bulk and Weezing's immunity to ground, and offensively, Arbok is just too lacking to do any real damage without relying on a setup move like Coil. Arbok is kind of like a jack of all trades and a master of none, since it can do a lot of different things, but there really isn't anything it can do that well, so I'm not really sure if you can even call it a jack of all trades then. And that is Arbok. Is Arbok the worst Pokemon? Personally, I don't think Arbok is the worst Pokemon ever, but it's a pretty useless Pokemon at that. Let me know what you guys think of Arbok in the comment section down below for a chance to have your comments featured on the next video, like this comment right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a great rest of your day, I will see you guys next time, and bye bye.